West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Man, I needed that this morning. Good morning, Denver, Colorado, 6 a.m. on this Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. You've tuned into the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights and hottest takes from the right, left, and center. Got a great show for you today. Bronco Stadium, looking to move. And could it want taxpayer dollars in order to build? Should Denver put money towards this? This is interesting as they're exploring a few different locations. I'm going to talk with Blake Olson about that after his news and comment. Also, a new poll out here in Colorado. All right, Coloradans concerned that government's not working for them. Well, you did vote for one single party to control all said government. Just saying. We'll get into that in the 7 o'clock hour. Changes possibly coming to wolves here in Colorado, with Democrats introducing a bill down at the Colorado State Capitol to possibly pause the reintroduction. It worked out so well. We're going to talk with Mike Boyle as well about the upcoming taste of Douglas County, and Colorado, the state, submitting its brief in the upcoming U.S. Supreme Court battle. Another one from Colorado. This time on conversion therapy ban. So lots to cover. News coming from Colorado. You're only going to hear it here. That discussion happens right here on 710 KNUS with the Jeff and Bill Show. So be sure to give us a call at 303-696-1971 or text us on the Dan Caplis Law Text line at 720-819-5115. Billy and I are going to be out at the Taste of Douglas County tomorrow night.
Yes, we will.
So looking forward to this.
This will be fun. Yeah. Douglas County Event Center. We're going to be there. Everything kicks off at 5 o'clock. It runs until 8. Mike Boyle's been doing this for more than 2 decades. Right now, you can go to tasteofdouglascounty.com, tasteofdouglascounty.com, and get your tickets to get entrance for $10. You show up at the door, and it's going to be $20. So it's going to double on you if you just don't go to the website or swing by Grinelli's Pizza in Castle Rock and pick up physical tickets there. Now, why is it important to get the half-price tickets? One, you are, obviously saving half the money, but unlike most of those other taste of shows, when you walk in, you then see another booth that you have to go buy all the tickets in order to get the drinks and the food that you bought the ticket to see in the first place. No, Mike does it right. One ticket. That entrance ticket is your key to all of the food and the drink. You get to sample the wine, sample the mead. You get Pepsi products from Bimbo Bakery, and tons of local restaurants will be serving up their bite-sized flair for you. So you wander around, and all you do is you nibble. It's like the best damn hors d'oeuvre party in the world. It's incredible. I mean, you're getting slices of pizza from Grinelli's. You're getting wings. This is absolutely amazing. And the best part about it, it's just everybody there in the community. But we're going to be hanging out with you from 5 until 8. The most important thing is go to tasteofdouglascounty.com because you definitely want to get in for $10. That is a screaming deal. There's not a way that you could feed your face for $10 in that area or anywhere in Denver, really, at that time. So grab it. Come on out with us. Taste of Douglas County Event Center, 5 to 8 tomorrow night. We will be there acting silly. We're not doing the entire show, so we're going to get a chance to hang out and chat with you. No, they're going to let us do
Bill's
microphone stuff a little
mead.
bit. Yes, it'll be fun. We'll do mead. We'll do lots of
It's
stuff.
a whole nother level of Bill Thorpe.
It'll be a lot of
You're
fun.
going to love.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun. So come out and see us.
It'll be great. Taste of Douglas County tomorrow night. Tasteofdouglascounty.com. Tasteofdouglascounty.com. All right, now it's time for everybody's favorite news and comment. Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good morning. It is Wednesday on Jeff and Billy Show. 60 and clear in Denver. Gorgeous sunrise, expecting a high of 95 today. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, a Colorado Parks and Wildlife Ranger is recovering after being stabbed in what officials now call a targeted attack at Staunton State Park. Jackie Kelly with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says the search for the suspect continues.
Right now, this is all hands on deck, and time is really, really important because the sooner that we can find this person, the better chance we might find them in the area. We're not going to give up until we find somebody.
It happened Tuesday morning near a popular climbing area, prompting a full evacuation and massive manhunt. The suspect is a white man in his 30s, ran into the woods, and is still on the loose as of last night. Nearby schools were put on lockout and residents asked to shelter in place, but that order has now been lifted. The ranger had surgery and is expected to recover. Authorities say the suspect is considered dangerous, and anyone who sees him should call 911.
There were concessions almost immediately made on the part of the Russians in the first meeting in Alaska. And, you know, part of getting those concessions was learning whether we were going to be able to see the Russians prepared to be more accommodating.
Steve Witkoff, special envoy. Russian President Putin has agreed to begin the next phase of the Ukraine peace process, according to the White House. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that includes possible direct talks between Putin and Ukrainian President Zelensky that could lead to a trilateral meeting with DJT. 37 leftist communists masquerading as Americans who helped push the Russia lie and helped try and overthrow the government back in 2016 and beyond. They have had their security clearances revoked. Rip them from them. Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard.
Ultimately, the real crime here was against the American people because this action singularly undermined the integrity of our democratic republic. What to speak of the fact that some of those folks and those 37 individuals that we revoked, directed the revocation of security clearances from today under the direction of President Trump, they aided and abetted in this action, this seditious conspiracy that undermined our democracy, undermined our republic, and broke that sacred trust that every one of these professionals is supposed to have from the American people.
Florida Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna introduced a resolution that would extend the federal takeover of D.C. law enforcement with no set end date, saying that the president should decide how long that control is needed. And the chairman of the D.C. Police Union, Greg Pemberton, says that D.C. Marxists in the police department and in city council were hiding the true crime stats.
Absolutely. That's one of the chief complaints of our members when we go around and talk to them is that they respond to the scenes of these violent crimes, and inevitably you'll have a captain or a commander or sometimes a lieutenant show up on the scene and advise them to take a report for a lesser offense. One of the things that we see them do often is sometimes there'll be a shooting or a stabbing, and if the victim is uncooperative with the police, which is not uncommon in some areas of the city, they'll be directed to take an injured person to the hospital report, which is not even a crime at all. It's an incident report. Sometimes you'll have a robbery. It'll be reported as a theft. Other times you'll have burglaries that are reported as unlawful entry or thefts.
Very nice. Wow. No surprise. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is slamming the State Department for denying medical visas to Gaza children. A group seeking humanitarian entry for injured kids was turned down last Saturday. prompting criticism from Green and other lawmakers who oppose the administration's handling of the Gaza crisis. Secretary of State Marco Rubio defended the decision, claiming some accompanying adults had ties to Hamas. Boxer Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is sitting in a Mexican jail after being deported from the U.S. this week. Authorities in Sonora arrested the former WBC middleweight champ Monday following a U.S. arrest outside his California home last month on an active warrant. His detention came just days after losing a 10-round bout to Jake Paul in Anaheim. Dodgers over the Rockies last night, 11-4. First pitch tonight in Lodo at Coors, 6:40. 58 in Aurora, 59 in Louisville, 60 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue on this Wednesday. It's Hump Day. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Hot, dry weather here for another couple of days, and as we get into Friday and the weekend, thunderstorm chances go up and temperatures will go down a little. However, it'll be hot and dry with mid-90s today, mid to upper 90s Thursday, nights in the 60s today and Thursday dry, upper 80s Friday, and lower 80s Saturday with thunderstorms returning. Weather, a service of L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Headline out of the Denver Gazette: is renovating Empower Field at Mile High a realistic option for a long-term Broncos stadium? Or maybe we need to move. Keep it in Denver. Looking at some locations there. Head out to Aurora, maybe Lone Tree. Now, let's remember, Mile High opened in 2001 at a cost of about $400 million, and Denver area taxpayers paid 3/4 of that bill through a special sales tax. The Broncos only chipped in about 25%. So here's the debate. Do we really want to go down that road again? Billionaire owners asking you, the fans, to reach into your pocket and fund their shiny new playground? Or should the team cover the cost privately, like SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, MetLife in New Jersey, Gillette in New England, which were privately financed without taxpayer money? Now, there's a few different options that they're exploring here. As I mentioned, they could move it and build it entirely new, which could cost billions of dollars. One option is to renovate it, and this article in the Denver Gazette gets into that, about how the Jaguars are doing it. And that can save you about $1 billion if you renovate it there, but you end up having to close sections, and with the case of the Jaguars, they're going to actually, during the 2027 season, play the entire season away from Jacksonville. So that's going to affect fan support. And then you get into what happens to the area around the stadium. So what you saw at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles is they want to build entire entertainment districts. So you got hotels, you got restaurants, you even got amusement parks all right next to the Broncos Stadium. So there's a lot to explore here, and I want to hear from both you, Bill Thorpe, and Blake Olson. Do you want to keep the Broncos Stadium where it is? Do you like its location? Is it historic? Do you go, well, you're going to go see a Broncos game, you're going to have to put up with going downtown. That's just part of the deal. We've all done it since they opened with the Bears a long time ago. Or would you like to see it at a bigger location, more spread out, more options, a more developed entertainment district? And then who pays for it? Should taxpayers, in the midst of a $200 million city budget deficit, in the midst of a near $1 billion state budget deficit, be now ponying up more money for the Walton family? Just a reminder, who owns the Broncos here? The Walton family, to be able to build a stadium without having to put their own capital up. I'll turn it over to the sports guy first. Blake, what do you think of this?
Well, I mean, there are two things going on here to me. It's just me, all opinion. If you pay for it, you can put it wherever you want to put it. You can build and do whatever you want. You pay for the land, you pay for the facility. This is the greatest investment that any individual can make, is owning or buying an NFL franchise. And as you just mentioned, there are examples of teams and organizations that can do it. I don't want any part of the public paying for this, because bottom line, the public really doesn't get to enjoy it for the most part. You enjoy most of it on television. And Denver is one of those markets where season tickets have been sold out since 1960. Billy's family, my family, has tickets. It goes deep, whether it's your uncle or your grandparents or your parents or whatever. It's not easy to get tickets. It's extremely expensive for the average family, especially this day and age. And I don't think the public should pay for any of it. It's just not worth it. And I'm a football guy, but I don't want to pay for a lot of what the NFL promotes, to tell you the truth. And we've talked about that a lot. But I would say no, but if you're paying for it, go build it in Lone Tree. If the people of Lone Tree want it there, build a beautiful dome. Maybe a Super Bowl can come here. So that's what I feel about it.
Bill, keep it in Denver?
Again, that's less of an issue for me, and because I side kind of with Blake, the idea that if the Walton family and the investors are going to build it where you want to. If you want to move it to Pueblo, move it to Pueblo. Okay, I'm not happy, but again, if you want to, go right ahead. Simply because you're footing the bill. I think that, again, the taxpayers should have a lot of voice if they're coming to us and asking us to kick in. The thing opened 2001. It's 25 years old. That's silly. We're going on 25 years. Does that mean that it is passe? Does that mean that it should be torn down?
Isn't that wild? It doesn't feel like it's that old. I remember when they built it. I remember going to the old Mile High Stadium. And the old one was fun, man, because when the crowds got going, that whole thing bounced.
Yeah, it did. It did. The whole thing bounced. And the other thing that I miss about, and this is why I am really worried about a new stadium, is because of the verticality. Now, let me explain. Inside of the old Mile High Stadium, the seats were more vertical than they are right now in the current Mile High Stadium, meaning that it's spread out more. The new design is to spread that out even more, meaning that the seats get further away from the field. So the person that is paying, so if you have season tickets or you like to go to one game or so a year, you're going to be paying more and you're going to be sitting further away is what's going to happen. The other part inside of that is the noise. One of the reasons that the old Mile High Stadium was as intimidating and you can't generate the noise in the new one is because of a lack of verticality. When you have the fans stacked up more straight, going straight rather than laying out side to side, you can create a cacophony of sound that goes down onto the field. English Premier League teams know this very, very, very well. They build a verticality into the stadium. The first section is the luxury side. That looks more like what you got at the current Mile High. Then they go very vertical, and in order to increase the sound and the noise, and also wink and a nod to cover the fans, is they create a slight overhang over the top. And so all the noise is then funneled back down onto the field. At the same time, it keeps the water, the rain, and the sunshine off the fans. So there's a two-pronged attack to this. And I keep thinking that we're gonna lose some of the atmosphere of the Mile High Thunder by how they're talking about building these. Here's what's gonna happen. In this new stadium, if they do it, there's gonna be a whole bunch of brand new luxury boxes. You know where they're going? Right there next to the field. So if you have seats that are right there behind the bench or right against the end zone, you're moving back 20, 50 feet minimum, because they're going to put an entire ring of luxury boxes around there, and then the seats will start. That's how this new thing is going to be developed, because that is the new way to generate revenue inside of the NFL. I, at my core, have a problem with a family or a group of investors that has the financial capital to purchase an NFL team, turning to the city and saying, we can't afford this. Excuse me? You just paid all this money for the team. What do you mean you can't afford this? I mean, if someone here on the Jeff and Bill show went out and they got a new condo, they went out and they were able to scrape together enough scratch to get a new house. They got that new house. They come back to the city and say, yeah, we just bought the new house. Can't afford to do any of the remodeling. We'd love to add a new basement. How about the city of Denver, the city of Aurora come in and help us pay for the basement? No, you wouldn't go knocking on the doors of your neighbors to say, I need to have a new football TV room in my basement, and I need all of y'all to kick in money in order to do this. Now, I will let you guys, for a fee, come over once a year and maybe sit in that basement, or I will just feed you the closed circuit TV of me watching the TV. That's it. You can watch it on TV, me watching the TV. That's what we're doing as far as a stadium. I love the idea that Blake's saying that most of the people that are going to be paying the tax for a new stadium don't have access, unless you are going to give me, like in California, Jeff, Mrs. Jeff knows this. In California, if you're a state resident, you get a discount to Disneyland. Until you are giving me a Colorado discount on all ticket and events that I go to at Mile High, and that includes concerts, that includes any one of those band competitions, any one of those high school competitions, and most importantly, any one of those football games or exhibition soccer games. You give me a state discount like they do, a resident discount like they do at Disneyland, now we're talking. If I'm paying full price, get benched.
So there's 4 options here that seem to be laid out in this article. Comes from the Denver Gazette. One is renovate, which is just stays where it is, and we deal with updates. And Jacksonville did that, saved about $1 billion to do it.
And what the majority of Colorado residents have had to do because they haven't been able to move.
Yeah,
It's exactly what we've been doing for years now. Renovate. Right. Yes, exactly.
That's why we all love Gyrie's.
Exactly. Continue.
Okay, that's number one. Number 2 is an attorney that's affiliated with the Denver Broncos General Counsel has purchased about $146 million worth of properties at Burnham Yards. And this is a real yard just south of Colfax Avenue and east of Interstate 25, essentially near the Buckhorn Exchange.
Yeah, if you know where the Buckhorn is, if you've ridden the light rail and you know the 10th and Osage drop-off, that's where this is going. There's a lot of dead area there that could be renovated. That's what they have their eye on.
And somebody's buying up a lot of property there.
A lot of property.
$146 million worth of it.
Yeah.
So, and they're affiliated with the Broncos.
Yes.
So there's no comment that's come from the Broncos about this, but everyone's going, All right, the other option is in Lone Tree or out in Aurora. So if you had to pick out of those 4, gentlemen and listeners of the Jeff and Bill show, and then we'll get to taxpayer funding. But if you had to pick one of those 4 options, we renovate, stay where we are, and expand maybe that district. By the way, it is managed by a district. It's like this special political entity that manages the football stadium. But expand it down there, make it look nicer, that type of thing. Number 2, we move it to Burnham Yards and rebuild entirely there. 3, head out to Lone Tree, or number 4, out to Aurora. Blake, you're the president of the Broncos. What do you do?
Oh, and who's paying for it?
We'll get to that in a second. But let's just
so
talk location.
If I'm just location?
Yeah.
Lone Tree by far. By far. I mean, it'd be
that's going to
absolutely
bring Lone
beautiful.
Tree down? I mean, it's not
No, if it's on the east side of I-25, I don't think it'll affect it too much. Because you already have that light rail station and all those
right there, Ridgegate.
Cracker Jack, right?
Yep.
Ridgegate. But I mean, the rolling hills and the foot. I mean, can you imagine the beauty shots right there of the stadium? You have I-25 and 470 intersecting. It's easy for
there's
everyone
a lot
to
of
get
space
there.
there. A lot of space.
Easier
Easier for Colorado Springs, Castle Rock, for sure, to get up to a Broncos game.
Yeah, absolutely. And so from the airport, it's easy. Everything is easier there. Even the rich people can land on the Centennial Airport.
Ooh, good point.
And, you got all the the free agents landing, and right there, 2 minutes from the stadium.
And Dove Valley's right there, too.
Dove Valley's right there. They can have a walkway, a 10-mile walkway bridge from there to the stadium. No, I mean, it's Lone Tree would be, I mean, if I was the owner and I'm paying for all this,
yeah,
absolutely Lone Tree.
Bill, where are you going?
Now, if I'm, one thing is like Blake talks about, if it is taxpayer, no, I'm not in for moving anywhere. And you do renovations. Yeah, I'm not in on any of this. My number one choice would be renovations. If I was going to be picking the location and I'm not the owner, if I'm just talking about being a resident, I do agree that Lone Tree makes the most sense, but I would break from that and I would do the rail yard. And it doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense. And it's, again, only my personal opinion. And inside of a debate, could I win? No, not at all. No. All the things that you guys outline as far as Lone Tree being the better place, yes. What I like about the rail yard is the close proximity to downtown Denver. And that area, I think, could really benefit from what the economic influx of a Denver Broncos stadium could do. I think it would be interesting. There are some fantastic restaurants and other locations in there that remain somewhat undiscovered. Running through the Buckhorn Exchange, Domo's over there for years. There are some things that could
you
be
imagine
discovered.
being the Buckhorn Exchange, though? You've been around since the beginning of Denver.
Dude.
Your building hasn't changed in 150 years, and lo and behold, a giant stadium gets dropped right across the street.
And all of a sudden your foot traffic, it just exponentially grows. And so that's part of it, where I see that opportunity for someone that has been so true, someone that has been that part of the community for the Buckhorn Exchange, to reap the tangential benefits of dropping the stadium there. I understand. I am making the choice in the rail yard only because at my core, I'm an inner city kid and I like the idea of being it there. Can I justify it based on economics or a commute or anything else? No, not at all. I am openly saying I am making this choice with my heart. But if I'm writing the check, I'm allowed to. I am allowed to. So that's it. I'm being totally open on this one.
Text messages are hot on this one. One coming from a district attorney saying, well, only one of those places is the safest part of the metro area.
Nice job. Well done.
George Brockler weighing in on this one. George, I mean, the greatest press conference of all time, one of the best, where he just gets elected. He shows up with a map for criminals to drive around the 18th or the 23rd Judicial District. My apologies, the 23rd Judicial District. He shows up with a map and says, "You want to do crime? Drive around my district because I'm going to put you in."
Got something here I want to throw on the table just for a second, and just as we get reactions. And I know we're going to get to you, Fred, on the phone in a sec here. I might take a break first, but just hang with us. Back in 1995, Coors Field opened. 95.
Wow.
That's before the current
6
Broncos
years.
Stadium.
Yeah.
We're not talking about either renovating or moving Coors Field. In fact, it is considered one of the best ballparks in the league. And Colorado fans turn up despite the fact the team sucks. They're going to the ballpark. So all I'm saying is if we're looking at moving the stadium and building a new stadium or renovating, have we learned something from our underachieving baseball brethren? Is there a lesson there to be learned?
I think that's a great point. However, baseball is different because the character of the ballpark is so important. Not that in football it isn't, but when you look at all the great ballparks, they're 150 years old, and so character is key in the architecture just being the same and things not changing too much, and that's what brings attention to the ballparks. But Coors Field is such a great ballpark. The design and the architecture and the flavor that it brings, people don't want it to change. That's baseball, so it's a little different. I mean, football. See, I can't agree with you more, Billy, about the angle and the of the upper decks and having the close proximity for the fans, and that's going to go away if you build a stadium. And typically, that's usually what happens.
I think space is really, really important, and the ability to expand and build these entertainment districts, right? So what they've done in Los Angeles around SoFi, for instance, that's why I lean towards Aurora, because the Raceway, the Vandermeers are heading out east. I think when you have the ability to continue to grow this, you've watched DIA become a world-class airport because it has the space to be able to expand with all new parking options and hotel development that's taking place out there. So I think it comes down to space. That's why I would lean towards Aurora, because you could just keep going if you want.
Yeah, that's
all
true.
the way east if you want.
Yeah.
Well,
do the Broncos then become the New York Giants who go and play in Jersey? I mean, is that what we're doing if we move them all the way out near? Because it would be, if they're going to develop, it would be near Gaylord or the Rockies.
Yeah, right.
So if you're moving them all the way out there, because you need the hotel space, you need the land. So that's where it would go. So if we're moving it all the way out there, have we just become the Giants?
Yeah, that's what Lone Tree is also. But the Broncos are such a regional team. I mean, they're the NFL team for 8 states, basically.
Oh, yeah. I mean, D.C., the Commanders don't play in D.C. anyway, so, I mean, that kind of thing, too. So
True.
So
No.
that's it.
I'm not saying we have to move to Kansas. I'm just saying, further east.
I think it would be a nightmare on blizzard games because the wind out there would be ridiculous.
Ooh, good point. Good point.
That's why I think Lone Tree would be the best.
Blake, appreciate your time. Would love to hear from
thank
you
you.
all. Give us a call, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. Should the Broncos move? Should they renovate? Should taxpayers pay for it? 27 of 32 teams in the NFL have their stadiums paid for by city taxes. Is that right for a city that's in debt, for a state that's in debt, to take on that burden? Does it benefit the taxpayers? Want to hear it directly from you. Let's talk about something we can all agree on. Advanced Hair Restoration is delivering for its customers. Summer is a time to look and feel your best. But I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, and add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once-year summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. There's absolutely no one I trust more than Dr. Tanya Pauls and her team at Advanced Hair. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair Summer Sales Event is on for a limited time, so get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 720-459-HAIR. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and take advantage of their best offer ever. That's 720-459-HAIR or advancedhair.com. 720-459-HAIR, advancedhair.com. We'll continue with the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader. Fred, you're up next. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Build a new stadium. What if the Broncos hold us over a barrel and say, we don't pony up, they move? Would you be there to wish them well as they leave the state? Give us a call. This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Wake up, Denver. There's no better place to start your morning than IHOP, where the pancakes are fluffy, the coffee is hot, and the smiles are endless. Wednesday, August 27th, join Jeff and Bill as they broadcast their show live from IHOP at 1595 South Colorado Boulevard in Denver. You're officially invited to be part of the excitement. Come grab your favorite breakfast and watch the Jeff and Bill show in action from 6 to 10 a.m. Don't forget to try the special Jeff and Bill breakfast. Pancakes, any style eggs, and crispy bacon, all for just $7.10. It's a deal as good as their hot takes. All they need is you. Bring your appetite, bring your friends, and kick off your day with great food and great conversation. See you Wednesday, August 27th at IHOP.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. The headline coming from the Denver Gazette. Great newspaper, by the way. Get a subscription. Dump the Denver Post and get your subscription to the Denver Gazette. Is renovating Empower Field at Mile High a realistic option for long-term Broncos Stadium? The Jacksonville Jaguars are doing it. Saved them about $1 billion. But the team's got a place elsewhere for the entire 2027 season. Now, there's some land that's being purchased near the Burnham Yards, which is out near the Buckhorn Exchange. Someone affiliated with the Broncos has purchased about $146 million worth of land there. A lot of eyebrows raised. Now, they could just flip it and sell it to somebody else, but it's an option. Leaders of the Broncos also meeting with officials from Aurora as well as Lone Tree. So you got 4 options. Where are the Broncos going? And then who's going to pay for it? Because 27 out of the 32 NFL teams are subsidized by taxpayers with regards to their stadiums. It's a financial loser for the community. There's been studies on this with regards to whether or not the benefit returns to the taxpayers. The Brookings Institute, for instance, has found that, no, it doesn't really come back. Now, you could try to measure it through, for instance, jobs created and economic benefit, and if all that comes there. But when we look at the 2001 stadium, the taxpayers covered about 75% of the cost. So a lot of it going out from Denverites having to pay sales tax in order to cover these stadiums. What do you think about all this? Let's go to Fred in Longmont. Good morning, Fred. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Morning, guys. I've got 3 reasons why I would never support a taxpayer paying for it, if it could. Number 1, the Penners, the Waltons, and all those people, they all claim to be capitalist. They want to go to the free market and put their product up and compete. They're the same guys who have the best tax attorneys and tax advisors to figure out how they avoid paying any taxes. So I think if they want to build a stadium or want a stadium, build it, pay all the fees, and then charge a price at the gate and find out if people really want their product or not. That's number 1. Number 2, I live in Longmont, and when they build the baseball stadium, we were in that five-county district that had to pay for it. I didn't see Longmont benefiting in any way. There was nobody staying in our hotels, nobody eating in our restaurants, shopping in our stores, and then going down to the ballpark and then coming back here. So why should I pay for it? Plus, I live that far away. Number 3, and I think this is one nobody ever talks about, look at the outrageous, egregious salaries they're paying these players. Some of these guys are making $30, $40, $50 million a year. If the Penners and the Waltons and all these other owners can afford to pay those guys that kind of a salary, let them also pay to build a ballpark, and they can put it anywhere they want. That's kind of the way I look at it.
I like that a lot, Fred, and specifically point number 1 and point number 3. I love the idea of pointing out the people that have embraced capitalism to amass enough wealth to afford to buy a team now are turning around and potentially asking Denver for socialism. The capitalists turning around and saying, I need socialism in order to make my capitalist investment profitable. I can't make money without you giving me a little bit of the sweet, sweet socialism.
But there's
weird.
a great benefit to the city. This is a win-win deal for everybody. Shouldn't the city put
Jeff,
a little bit into this?
Excuse me, Jeff. The city of Denver, yes, let them pay for it. But don't make all the other people, like I said, I live in Longmont. Boulder County was part of that. Why should I pay for Denver to benefit?
Ooh.
And don't give me this, you got to have a ballpark to have a great city. I love sports. I played collegiately. I played in the service and everything else. And I like sports. But I'm not willing to pay for Denver to profit from it when I'm not profiting or my community's not profiting from it.
I like that idea, Fred. I like where you're going with that because one of the things Jeff had brought to the table is the idea of that entertainment district that is built up around the stadium and how that would be profitable for the area. But I like your criticism of where you live and how far away you are from the baseball stadium and not deriving any direct economic benefit in your community. So maybe what we need to do, instead of looking at the entire Denver Metro paying for it, figure out where the stadium they want to build the stadium, and then draw a 3-mile circle around it. And inside of that 3-mile radius, those are the people that pay the tax.
Well,
everybody
and I'm not going to drive to Lone Tree.
Yeah.
I'm not going to drive to Lone Tree to have to go through Denver to go see a ball game, and then consider that I helped pay for that. But back to my earlier point, if you'll allow me, these guys claim to be capitalists. So let's find out how truly capitalistic you are. As I mentioned, build a ballpark, pay all the fees that it means to belong to the NFL, But charge a price at the gate. You get all the concessions, all the money, and then we'll find out how much people really want your game.
Fred, could you make the argument that a true capitalist is about acquiring wealth, and the best way, in this case, to do so, you have an option. 27 out of the 32 NFL stadiums do have partnerships with the city to cover a cost of it. Isn't it best to be a capitalist if you can keep some of your spending down by having the city come in and cover a portion of it?
Let me ask you this. The Waltons, let's just use them as an example. The Waltons go into these communities. They build their mega stores. How many other businesses do they put out of business because of the fact that they can sell products
Wouldn't you say they're
cheaper?
True ruthless capitalists?
Well, okay, you can be a true ruthless capitalist. I just don't want to pay for it.
Fred, I agree with you. I was playing a bit of the devil's advocate there.
Oh,
Fred,
I know you are. I know you got to have a little controversy. But my point is, I would tell the Waltons, you want the ballpark. Look at their financial statements and tell me that I should pay based on my financial statement for them to have a ballpark because they got a bigger financial statement than I do. That's
Fred,
ludicrous.
Great
and
call.
Again, I love sports, but I'm not paying for these guys.
I appreciate it. Fred's line's open, 303-696-1971. Bill, here's what's going to happen, though, and I've seen it time after time after time again. Those sweet luxury boxes are going to be offered up to those city leaders. Maybe not ownership, but man, you get to attend them. Look at our Denver City Council spending $26,000 on a retreat.
Yeah.
By the way, they kind of backed away from it after
they have.
Brian Moss, that nitwit, trying to explain to Brian Moss why we should spend $26,000 on a retreat when employees are being laid off. That was one of the most brilliant interviews I've seen.
Yeah, Brian did a
Tip
great
of the
job
hat
there.
to Brian Moss on that
fantastic.
one. But they love to be treated so well, and the Waltons and the Broncos owners even come alongside those city Denver leaders. Go, you don't have to make the decision. Just put it on the ballot. That's how it was funded originally. It was a ballot initiative for bond, and it cost Denver $400 million to build it. They did a sales tax at 0.1%, around $300 million out of pocket. Denver Broncos covered 25% of the stadium cost, roughly $100 million. But then taxpayers also shouldered $54 million in federal tax loss, thanks to tax-exempt bonds used in financing the stadium. So, ended up becoming a financial loser. So, they're just going to say, you don't need to make a decision. Just let it go on the ballot, and then let the taxpayers make the decision. And by the way, why don't you join us in our sweet luxury spot?
Now, let me put this. This is one of the interesting points that Fred had made about the idea that how much the Waltons can afford to pay. This year, the NFL salary cap for the 2025 season is $279 million, and the Broncos are above it. So again, the Broncos are paying their players more than $279 million to play today. So when they come to us and say we can't possibly afford a stadium.
But Bill, isn't it to be a capitalist? I raised this with Fred, to be the one that acquires wealth by whatever means you can. And in this case, a partnership with the city and taxpayers covering a portion of the stadium means more money in your pocket.
You can acquire the wealth any way you want, but don't tell me you're a capitalist when you're turning to the city and you're asking for the socialism. Don't tell me you want the socialist help when you declare to be a capitalist.
Give us a call. Join the conversation, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Capitalist Law text line, 720-819-5115. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader News Talk 710 KNUS.
All right, let's kick it off this Wednesday morning with what we all really need to get going. Some of Bill Thorpe's You Choose the News.
It's that time of the morning where we get to play America's favorite fake radio news game show. You Choose the News. Yes, you know how this works. We scour the interwebs for moments this morning to find really dumb stories about us humans and then give them even more ridiculous headlines to play this fake radio news game show because nobody in charge is awake at this hour and we're going to take full advantage of being left unsupervised. As always, Blake Olson joins us from the news department. Jeff Hunt's in the studio. Gentlemen, your choices. Headline number 1, I'm immune. Headline number 2, the human touch. Headline number 3, I don't see your point. And headline number 4, Mount Splashmore, part 2. Mr.
Mount Splashmore, please.
Mount Splashmore, part 2. An incident that recalls a similar scenario on the long-running TV show The Simpsons. You may recall when, Homer and his massive body weight got stuck in the slide at Mount Splashmore. Well, it was recreated, according to the Vernon Fire Department, just this previous Saturday. In Connecticut, police were dispatched to Northeast Elementary School on East Street after receiving a report of an adult male stuck in the tube slide. Now, this is the weird part. Responders found the guy. He got stuck in the middle portion of the slide. But the weird thing is, it looked like he had folded himself in half. Like he was touching his toes. Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so he's like folded in half and
Brutal.
stuck there. Yes. Now, they did require additional apparatus and manpower in order to cut him free. He was freed within 30 minutes and evaluated at the scene, and he seems to be okay. They were really worried, though, about him not being able to get air because of how he was compressed inside of there. Yeah. So
Did
the
he
EMTs
explain how he got folded in half?
they didn't have that in the story, which kind of, I kind of like, that's a missing. I had a story yesterday. I'm looking at this thing. Talked about someone being shot and then a chase and where they found the person later. They never talked about why the shooting happened or what. I'm like, who's doing this? And like that story there, they didn't tell me why he got into the slide. It was a dare or something else, or hey, look what I can do. I just, I don't know.
CNN writer.
Exactly. Alrighty, Blake, your choice, sir. I'm immune, the human touch, or I don't see your point.
Billy, let's go with I'm immune.
I'm immune. A Sandy man is accused of purchasing a Range Rover with a check that bounced, but don't worry, he has diplomatic immunity. At least according to him. James Allen Sorensen, 41, was charged in 3rd District Court with theft of a motor vehicle and a lot of other things. He showed up to the Larry H. Miller dealership in August, and he purchased a Range Rover Sport with a $60,000 check. Well, the checks made of rubber. Bouncy, 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 bouncy. It was fraudulent, but the dealership had held onto the title. Well, the dealership contacted Sorensen to meet him and take back the vehicle. He refused, and he allegedly put on a fake diplomatic plate on it and said, I am now immune to all of your laws. Because that's how things work. Oddly enough, when he was arrested, they did find the car and they arrested him in the car. They waited outside of his home and waited for him to leave and then driving the Range Rover. They arrested him. He presented an ID labeled, quote, American State Citizen, United States of America Unincorporated, and said he was gifted this by the Utah Assembly. All of that is not real. Yeah, so, yes. He used a fake check and then claimed fake diplomatic immunity with a fake ID. This is great.
It's amazing the lengths that people will go.
Oh, I know. It is. It really is.
For a Range Rover.
Yes, for a Range Rover. God, and the reliability of these things suck anymore. Okay. Now, Jeff.
They do.
Yes.
People really like buying them? I wonder that when I drive by. I'm like, did you think that was a wise choice?
It's an image. I mean, if you go back 15 years, Range Rovers are solid.
Oh,
you go the
yeah,
original Defenders,
right.
yeah. But now, they're... And whatever you do not buy the Discovery. Do not. Light your money on fire instead. Or just go to the strip club.
It's like a Jaguar.
It's much of an investment. Yeah. Jaguars having problems. That's another day. Okay, here we go. Final choice this morning, Jeff. The human touch, or I don't see your point.
I don't see your point.
Yeah, I don't see your point. United Airlines and Delta Airlines could face a federal lawsuit that may become a class action lawsuit because they are charging you that extra premium for the window seat for seats that don't have windows. Yes, odd how they're able to do that, but so far nobody's really complained or filed a lawsuit. Yes, a law firm in California is forming a class action lawsuit over plaintiffs' claim that they are being charged the window seat premium. Get on the plane, can't see anything. Well, at least you don't see the guy on the wing who's trying to tear it apart, like in Twilight Zone, but still, that's the idea. It's getting charged for the window seat and not getting it. Remember the old days where you show the baseball stadiums, being stadiums, and you sit behind the concrete pole?
Yeah, right.
Yes.
There was one of those in the old McNichols Arena. I got one of those seats one night. That was
So
an
did I.
experience. Yeah. Yeah, again, we have something in common, Blake.
Yes, we do. No money.
No money. And bad seats. Back to you, sir.
All right, new poll. Coloradoans concerned that government's not working for them. maybe stop electing Democrats. We'll get to that more. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is 710 KNUS.